a poorly dressed lady who looked with a defeat on her face. She walked into the grocery store. She approached the owner of the store in her most humble manner, asked if he would let her charge a few groceries. She softly explained that her husband was very ill and unable to work. They had 7 children and they needed food. John House, the grocer, scoffed at her and her request and asked her to leave the store. Visualizing a family in need, she said, "Please, sir, I will bring you the money as soon as I can." John told her he could not give her credit as she did not have a charge account at the store. Standing beside the counter was a customer who overheard the conversation between the two, and the customer walked forward and told the grocer that he would stand good for whatever she needed for her family. The grocer was very reluctant. He says, "Do you have a grocery list?" Louise replied, "Yes, sir." "Okay. Put your grocery list on the scales, and whatever your grocery list weighs, I will give you that amount in groceries." Louise hesitated for a moment. She bowed her head, and she reached into her purse and she took out a piece of paper and scribbled something on it. Then she laid the piece of paper on the scale very carefully, with her head still bowed. The eye of the grocer and the customer showed amazement when the scale went down and stayed down. The grocer kept staring at the scales and then suddenly turned and said begrudgingly, "I can't believe it." The customer smiled up at the grocer and he started to put groceries on the other side of the scale. The scale did not balance, so he continued to put more and more groceries until the scale would hold no more. The grocer stood there, utter disgust, and finally grabbed the piece of paper from the scales and looked at it. And with greater amazement, it was not a grocery list. It was a prayer which said, "Dear Lord, you know my needs, and I am leaving this in your hands." The grocer gave her the groceries. He gathered and he stood there stunned in silence. Louise thanked him and left the store. The customer handed a $50 bill to the grocer and said it was worth every penny. Only God knows how much the prayer weighs. So many of us do not take advantage of the power of God that He's given us, a prayer.
Amen.
Amen.